Cast number 46.
Welcome. It's a good one.
Yeah, so last week we talked about resistance to change, and this week we're going to talk about how to change.
Yes. And it's
Make it
going
a
to be
little easier for
so
you.
fun.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
We're going to do wonderful exercises today. We're going to use one of our favorite tools, which is You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. Still one of our favorite books.
Yeah.
And so we're so excited to share this with you. It's going to be a lot of fun, especially with the changing of the seasons. And now we're really fully into spring and moving into summer. It's just the perfect time to focus on shifting towards the new.
Yeah, and it's always a good time of year to make changes, I think, because it is an exciting time and a more lighter time, a more uplifting time usually for people. So it is easier to ease into those changes if you want to make some big changes or if you just want to change some little things.
Yeah.
It's always easier to eat better in the summer, I feel like.
Lots
Because
of
there's
access to fresh
more,
food.
yeah, there's more fresh food, especially here where we are, because the ground is frozen 6 months out of the year at least. So summer's always a good time we eat a lot better, I think, in the summer, at least I do, because
And that also gives us more energy with the sun being out more.
Right, yeah.
And the fresh food. It gives us the energy to really start to move into those positive changes we've been looking forward to.
Yeah, yeah. We get more vitamin D. We have sun.
Yes.
Some days, not today, but
Well, I mean,
it's been a rainy and dark
Some
day
days.
today, but
if we get some days, that's good here.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
yeah, I know. Yeah, we our days are really long in the summer, so that's a bonus for living here.
Love it. More time to do things.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like this is just the right season. And it kind of flows with the changing of the seasons and the natural rhythm of your life to just start thinking about this now and start doing some of the things that can propel you forward.
Right, right. Yep. So do you want to start? Are you going to read first? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think we're going to start here. We're in chapter 7 on how to change in this book. And in my fancy one,
Yeah,
pretty one.
She has the new version.
I do. It's on page 83 in the new version. So, how to change. I cross bridges with joy and ease. I love how-tos. All the theory in the world is useless unless we know how to apply it and make a change. I have always been a very pragmatic, practical person with a great need to know how to do things. The principles we will be working on at this time are nurturing the willingness to let go, controlling the mind, and learning how forgiveness of self and others releases us. Releasing the need. Sometimes when we try to release a pattern, the whole situation seems to get worse for a while. This is not a bad thing. It is a sign that the situation is beginning to move. Our affirmations are working and we need to keep going. And this is where persistence really comes in. A lot of people, when they first hit the first roadblock, they're like, I've been focusing so well and I'm feeling really positive about it. And then this happened. That's actually a really good sign that your focus is there and that you're moving forward in that situation. So don't give up at the first sign of a roadblock because that's often resistance showing up.
Yeah, yeah. It's just a sign that you need to let go of that resistance, usually. It's not saying that you picked the wrong thing to do or whatever. It's usually just your inner blocks that are showing up and need to be released.
Right. Which, if you need help with that, go back to podcast number 45.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we did a lot of releasing last
We
week.
did. So if you come up on a roadblock, that would be a good one to watch and do some of the releasing work with so then you can keep moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Examples. We're working on increasing prosperity and we lose our wallet. We are working on improving our relationships and we have a fight. We are working on becoming healthy and we catch a cold. We are working on expressing our creative talents and abilities and we get fired. Sometimes the problem moves in a different direction and we begin to see and understand more. For example, let's assume you are trying to give up smoking and you're saying, I am willing to release the need for cigarettes. As you continue to do this, you notice your relationships becoming more uncomfortable. Don't despair. This is a sign of the process working. You might ask yourself a series of questions like, Am I willing to give up uncomfortable relationships? Were my cigarettes creating a smoke screen so I wouldn't see how uncomfortable these relationships are? Why am I creating these relationships? You notice the cigarettes are only a symptom and not a cause. Now you are developing insight and understanding that will set you free. You begin to say, I am willing to release the need for uncomfortable relationships. Then you notice the reason you're so uncomfortable is that other people always seem to be criticizing you. Being aware that we always create all of our experiences, you now begin to say, I am willing to release the need to be criticized. You then think about criticism and you realize that as a child, you received a lot of criticism. That little kid inside of you only feels at home when it is being criticized. Your way of hiding from this had been to create a smokescreen. Perhaps you see the next step as affirming, I am willing to forgive blank. As you continue to do your affirmations, you may find that cigarettes no longer attract you, and the people in your life no longer criticize you. Then you know you have released your need. This usually takes a little while to work out. If you are gently persistent and you are willing to give yourself a few quiet moments each day to reflect on your process of change, you will get the answers. The intelligence within you is the same intelligence that created this entire planet. Trust your inner guidance to reveal to you whatever it is you need to know.
Mhm. Yeah, that's so good. I just love how the energy works, when you are trying to do something and something comes up, say like your car last week.
Again.
Had car trouble, but
Again.
you didn't give up and you didn't get, so bad, like, oh, I just get rid of this car. It wasn't anything major. You got it fixed.
Right.
And it was fine and you didn't give up and you just acknowledged that, okay, what am I doing? I wonder if I'm doing something that is not right with my energy that's making this happen, like snowball effect.
Mhm.
And maybe the releases we did last week
Really
eased
helped.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they did help a lot, actually.
Yeah. But there's always things that you can do to get your energy back where it needs to be to move forward again.
Right.
So if we know that and acknowledge that, hey, it might not be a sign that everything's terrible or I'm going down the wrong path or whatever.
Mhm.
If it still feels good, the things that you want to do, keep moving forward and do some work on your mindset and on your well-being and see if that changes the pattern.
Mhm. And here's the thing, we can use my example, just like this stopping smoking example.
Mhm.
So one of our intentions, my husband and I, is to have decent cars that work and function, right? And so that's because we had a couple issues with, because we only buy used cars.
Mhm.
And so that's kind of been our intention, is we need cars that work and function, and we need, you know, 2 to 3 cars, because we live in the country. If one of them dies, we both need to get to work
Mhm.
because we work at completely different times.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's kind of been our focus. And so we only had, he had his truck and I had my car. And he was home already from work and we were here doing the podcast. And
Mhm.
after the podcast, I went out and tried to start my car and it didn't start, just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Right. And so we could take that. I got to take that as a roadblock, as saying, well, I'm not supposed to have nice cars or cars that work or whatever. But
Right.
that wasn't it. That was, okay, well, there's an issue with this car. It actually turned out to be an electrical issue that needed to be fixed. So
Mhm.
I had asked for cars that continue to function properly and well. So if we didn't fix that problem, then I could get stranded somewhere unsafe, like on the side of the highway again.
Right.
Or,
Yeah.
out in the middle of nowhere going to my sister's place or something like
Mhm.
that. But no, what happened is it would happen in our parking lot.
Yeah.
Tracy was here to help me. My
Yeah.
husband was able to drive up and get me. And then, I was like, well, how are we going to make this work so then I can get to my car and have it towed and get it fixed? Well, the solutions all just kind of worked itself out. And my
Yeah.
work, was very understanding that the next morning I had to go and get the car towed. And so it was going to be late. And we all just kind of worked together.
Mhm.
And it all worked out to where it was a simple fix.
Yeah.
And it
Yep.
got fixed, and now my car works beautifully again. And it
Mhm.
wasn't like a big deal. And also, I don't think it became a big deal because I didn't make a huge deal out of it. I was worried at first, like, oh no, what am I gonna do? I only have the one car. How am I
Right.
gonna get to work?
Yeah.
But I didn't freak out.
Mhm.
And I didn't say, why can't any of my cars work? And blah, 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 blah. I didn't go there. I just called my husband and said, hey, my car didn't start.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was all the energy I had in it.
Right.
And that makes a difference. I didn't give
Yeah.
up. I didn't
Yeah.
scream. I didn't say, I can't have nice. I didn't do any of that. I just was like, well, it didn't start. I need to get it fixed. So come pick me up so tomorrow we can get it fixed.
Right.
That's
Yeah. It doesn't make it any better if you would have got mad and threw a fit about it. That doesn't make the situation better. It makes things worse because
Yes.
then you're getting everyone else riled up around you or in your life, so if you can keep your composure and stay calm and know that everything is always working out for you, that's been our mantra for years now, that
Yeah,
everything is always working out for you. So
it is. And we were solution
you-
focused. We're like, well,
yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
what's wrong, but let's try this. And we went to the store and we got something and tried that, and that didn't work. So I was like, well, I'll call my husband and then we'll figure it out from there. And
yeah, yeah,
that's what we did. And
yeah.
it was fine. It wasn't ideal. Of course not.
Right.
I
Yeah.
hit a bit of resistance there. But like you said, I didn't give up. I didn't
Mhm.
say, this is the end and get rid of the car or whatever. I just said, okay, well, we'll see what's wrong with it.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there,
Yeah.
and then we'll take the next step from there, and then the next step from there, and the next step from there. And,
Mhm.
it does all work itself out one way or
Yeah.
another.
It sure does.
And the energy that you approach it with and the intention really makes a huge difference in the outcome as
Mhm.
well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so good when you can keep your composure and keep your intention in mind always. The thing that you want is good car, a good car to drive back and forth to work or wherever you need to go.
Yeah, I even lowered my standards. I wanted a working car.
Yeah.
And I was okay with that. I wanted a working car. Well, a day and a half later, I had a working car again.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know what it is, but we've had car trouble too. The last while, Don bought a used pickup and something happened to that didn't work. And he
Oh.
said, no, I don't want this one. And so the guy fixed it and he's gonna sell it and split the money or whatever. I don't know what. But in the meantime, he bought a different little car that gets really good mileage. It's just an older little car, but it's a hatchback, so he can fit all his tools in the back. He doesn't really need a pickup, except once in a while to haul big things, but for now, this little car is perfect. Well, then, what happened? Something happened. Wheel bearing went out. And then, the brakes needed to be fixed, but it was little things that now it drives like a dream. So
Yeah.
it's cool. Yeah. And, my son too, something happened. His truck died too. And it was all kind of at the same time that you were having all your car trouble. And it's like, there's something in the air.
Yeah.
People need an upgrade maybe for some
Right.
things,
Well, and that's the thing too, is, we were worried, and so we were still looking for other cars because we
Right.
wanted to have, like, my husband needs a car that has better gas mileage and stuff. And so he was looking at cars and he was bidding on two of them. And because sometimes we do car auctions.
Yeah.
Right. And so he was bidding on two of them, and then he got one of them, and really inexpensively.
Yeah.
And we went and picked up the car on Saturday,
Yeah.
and it's like, works like a dream.
Nice.
Beautiful car, works so
Nice.
perfect. And we're like, how did we get that for that price?
Yeah.
And then what happened is that night, he also won the other car. He stopped bidding on it, thinking he was going to get outbid, and didn't. So now we have two cars, and we're gonna go pick up the other car. So now we went from like a half a car, because my husband's truck wasn't working when he tried to come pick me up either, and then
To
four
four
cars that all run.
Nice.
And
So you manifested
so we
that.
we created that intention. We wanted some cars that run beautifully, they get good gas mileage, and that we can have for a while until we find like a winter car for me.
Yeah.
And so not only did we get one, but we got two for less, like $1,000 less than it costs to get one of the other cars.
Wow.
And so, I mean, if you talk about if that I had let that first roadblock stop me,
Right.
well, I can't buy used cars anymore or whatever, we
Right.
wouldn't have gotten these other ones. And so it's
Yeah.
important not to give up at that first roadblock of now the one
Mhm.
car I have is dying. Well, I give up, or go lease a car or whatever. It wouldn't have been
Right.
the same outcome.
Yeah.
And so we got what we wanted, even better than we wanted.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
worked out really nicely. So it kind of is another example of how this all kind of works.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Just keep that intention in your mind. Keep looking forward and being solution focused, and you're gonna get through those blocks, and it's gonna be better than you can imagine. Like, yeah.
Right. It's just a little speed bump.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
a little speed bump.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. So we have a really fun exercise that goes along with this. And do you want me to do this one and do the next section?
Sure. Sure.
So it's called releasing the need. So don't we love doing exercises? Because
Yeah.
let's do it. Let's get things started right now.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
There's no
And I
other
love-
time than now.
Yeah. I love when you set your intention that you want something, but you don't need it. It's not in that drastic, oh, I have to have this, because that to me feels like something rubbing up against,
It's a push when you say
feels like,
need.
yeah, a push.
Mhm.
So when I think this is going to be a good exercise.
Yeah. And I think that this actually was part of why the energy of cars dying on me, because I knew that I needed
Oh,
a
sure.
car.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I need to have a car.
Yeah.
Well, as soon as I let go of that, well then I was like, well, I just give it up. This
Yeah.
is these are the things that I need, and I'm just gonna give it to the universe to help me with, and just kind of focus on the solutions and start feeling better, because that's what I do.
Yeah.
And as soon as I did that, then it's like, okay, then my car was fixed.
Yeah.
Okay. And then a couple of days later, then we got a car. And then the next day we had another car. So it's just kind
Yeah.
of good for this. And so I think that was part of me too, is I still had that resistance of needing and
Mhm.
realizing, forgetting for a moment that everything is working out for me.
Right.
And so this would have been a really good exercise for me to do in that moment, but I just let it go myself. So I guess I didn't need it at that
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that need is kind of a push energy. So you're resisting what's trying to come in when that happens. So yeah.
All
Awesome.
right.
Okay.
Okay, so let's do it. In a workshop situation, I would have you do this exercise with a partner. However, you can do it equally as well using a mirror, a big one if possible. So if you have a big mirror, go and get it right now. If you even have a hand mirror, that works too. Just go get something that's a mirror.
Mhm. Or sit in front of the mirror, or stand in front of it in the bathroom or something.
Yep, exactly.
Whatever
Or you
it
can
takes.
see your face. That's important for this exercise. See your face. Think for a moment about something in your life you want to change. Go to the mirror and look into your eyes and say out loud, quote, I now realize that I have created this condition, and I am now willing to release the pattern in my consciousness that is responsible for this condition. Quote. Say it several times with feeling. If you were with a partner, I would have your partner tell you if you really thought you meant it. I want you to convince your partner. Ask yourself if you really mean it. Convince yourself in the mirror that at this time you're ready to step out of the bondage of the past. And this is really important, is that you are saying, yes, I am ready. I'm done with this. It's time to move forward.
Yeah.
And you're saying it with feeling, and you're letting yourself know that now is the time. I'm finally allowing myself to move forward from this condition.
Yeah.
At this point, when people get scared because they don't know how to do this releasing, they're afraid to commit themselves until they know all the answers. It's only more resistance. Just pass through it. One of the great things is that we do not have to know how. All we need is to be willing. The universal intelligence or your subconscious mind will figure out the hows. Every thought you think and every word you speak is being responded to, and the point of power is in this moment. The thoughts you are thinking and the words you are declaring in this moment are creating your future.
So good.
I love it.
Yeah,
And mirror work is so powerful.
it really
It
is.
really gets to the core of your conscious and subconscious, and being able to look yourself in the eye, the easier and easier that gets for you, the better and better, and the less and less resistance you have. It's really cool. If you're willing to try it, mirror work is very powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, even if you just look yourself in the eye in the morning when you're getting ready and say, hey, have a good day, or something positive, it really helps. And you can see your soul easier when you look at your eyes in the mirror. Yeah, it's very cool.
Absolutely.
Try it. It's awesome.
Yeah. If you're willing to try it, I suggest it highly.
And it might be hard at first, but once you get through that little part at the beginning, it's amazing and it feels so good.
Absolutely. Okay. We're going to go and talk about the mind.
Okay, your mind is a tool. You are much more than your mind. You may think that your mind is running the show, but that is only because you have trained your mind to think in this way. You may also untrain and retrain this tool of yours. So remember that your mind really is just trying to keep you safe. And that's pretty much its job, but it's usually all lies that it's telling you in your head. You know, the things in your head that come up, they really aren't truths, hardly ever.
The
You know,
negative thoughts are pretty much never truths because they feel
Right.
bad
Yeah, they
when you
do.
think them.
And you know, we always say God wouldn't tell you bad things, wouldn't
berate you and
Yeah,
say you're
wouldn't-
worthless or anything like
yeah,
that. That's
yeah,
just, that makes no sense.
That's not your true being talking there. So your mind is a tool for you to use in any way you wish. The way you now use your mind is only a habit, and any habits can be changed if we want to do so, or even if we only know it is possible to do so. Quiet the chatter in your mind for a moment and really think about this concept. And that's easier said than done. I know for me with a chatter mind, mine is always going 100 miles an hour.
But if you pause,
yeah,
if you just take a pause and say, I'm going to focus on these words, that can help you. Just say, even saying them out loud helps calm everything else so that you could just focus on the statement.
So the statement is, your mind is a tool. You can choose to use it any way you wish. So choose is the word there. The thoughts you choose to think create the experiences you have. If you believe that it is hard or difficult to change a habit or a thought, then your choice of this thought will make it true for you. If you would choose to think, it is becoming easier for me to make changes, then your choice of this thought will make that true for you. So pay attention to what's going on in your head when your mind is going, and when you are ready to make a change, or there's something you want to do, you can tell yourself it's going to be easier. This won't be so bad. You know, this is going to be easier than I ever imagined to make this change. And it will be that way. It's a habit to choose those thoughts. And the more you do it, the easier it is.
Right. And you can even do freedom release method on that. I release all resistance to knowing that it's easy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really good one. Yeah. And we probably did that one last week. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure we did.
Yeah.
So go back and watch that. It'll be
Yeah. So the next one is controlling the mind. There's an incredible power and intelligence within you that is constantly responding to your thoughts and words. As you learn to control your mind by the conscious choice of thoughts, you align yourself with this power. Do not think that your mind is in control. You are the one in control of your mind. You use your mind. You can stop thinking those old thoughts. When your old thinking tries to come back and say, it's so hard to change, take mental control. Say to your mind, I now choose to believe It is becoming easier for me to make changes. You may have to have this conversation with your mind several times for it to acknowledge that you are in control and that what you say goes. So always know that, you're the one in control, not your monkey mind. That's just there to try and keep you from getting ate by a buffalo or not a buffalo because they don't eat meat.
Or you're run over or whatever.
Yeah. You just, you have to make your mind know that you're the one in control, not that monkey business that's coming through.
And you created those thought patterns through repeated experiences and repeated thinking them.
Right.
So how do you create a new pattern?
Yeah.
By thinking new thoughts and creating that pattern and doing that over and over and over again. And as you do that, it gets easier and easier because your mind gets used to thinking those thoughts.
Yeah.
It gets used to correcting itself. You get used to catching yourself saying negative things.
Yeah.
And the more that you do that, the more it becomes a habit, the more easy it gets, and the less negative thoughts you have because your positive thoughts have already become a pattern.
Mhm.
So it doesn't take that much time at all. Most people say, doing something for 21 days. So if
Yeah.
you do it, 1 to 3 times a day for 21 days, pretty soon you're not even going to be able to think about it anymore. It's just going to become habit.
Right. And you can write a little note for yourself and hang it on your mirror or wherever you get ready in the morning, or put it on the dash of your car. So when you're driving to work, you notice those statements and it'll stay fresh in your mind, and pretty soon it'll be natural for you.
Right.
Yeah. So the only thing you ever have any control of is your current thought. Your old thoughts are gone. There is nothing you can do about them except live out the experiences they caused. Your current thought, the one you are thinking right now, is totally under your control. Here's some examples. So if you have a little child who has been allowed to stay up as late as she wishes for a long time, and then you make a decision that you now want this child to go to bed at 8 o'clock every night, what do you think the first night will be like? No. And, we go through this if you have kids every summer. And then when school comes, you got to go to bed early and it's still light out till 10 o'clock at night.
Right.
And you're going, oh, that's going to be hard. But so you need to start a little bit early. But the child will rebel against this new rule and may kick and scream and do her best to stay out of bed. If you relent at this time, the child wins and will try to control you forever. However, if you calmly stick to your own decision and firmly insist that this is the new bedtime, the rebellion will lessen. In 2 or 3 nights, the new routine will be established. It is the same thing with your mind. Of course, it will rebel at first. It does not want to be retrained, but you are in control. And if you stay focused and firm, in a very short time, the new way of thinking will be established. And you will feel so good to realize that you are not a helpless victim of your own thoughts, but rather a master of your own mind. So that's, really good. And that's a good reason to write some little notes. So it's keeping that fresh in your mind, and it's making it easier for you to remember.
Having those reminders, especially if you start going down a negative thought hole, and then
Right.
let's say you have it on your dashboard and you're driving and you glance over and it reminds you like, oh, I'm catching myself because I'm going there. So I need to go back up to the positive thoughts that I wanted.
Right.
Towards the things that I want again.
Yeah.
It really does help to have those reminders.
Yeah, it does. So here's a little exercise in letting go. As you read this, take a deep breath, and as you exhale, allow all the tensions to leave your body. Let your scalp and your forehead and your face relax. Your head does not need to be tense in order for you to read. Well, and I'm reading it for you anyway. So relax and just listen. Let your tongue and your throat and your shoulders relax. You can hold a book with relaxed arms and hands. Do that now. Let your back and your abdomen and your pelvis relax. Let your breathing be at peace as you relax your legs and your feet. Is there a big change in your body since you began the previous paragraph? Are you feeling more relaxed? Notice how much you hold on to. If you are doing it with your body, then you are doing it with your mind. In this relaxed, comfortable position, say to yourself, I am willing to let go. I release. I let go. I release all tension. I release all fear. I release all anger. I release all guilt. I release all sadness. I let go of all the old limitations. I let go, and I am at peace. I am at peace with myself. I am at peace with the process of life, and I am safe. Go over this exercise 2 or 3 times. Feel the ease of letting go. Repeat it whenever you feel thoughts of difficulty coming up. It takes a little practice for the routine to become a part of you, but you can put yourself into this peaceful state first. It becomes easy. No, when you put yourself into this peaceful state first, it becomes easy for your affirmations to take hold. You become open and receptive to them. There is no need to struggle or stress or strain. Just relax and think the appropriate thoughts. Yes, it is this easy. And most phones have a little thing where you can record a voice memo. So you could say these statements in that memo, and then if you're stressed in your car or sitting in traffic or whatever, you can just play those back and listen to them, and it would really be a good thing to do.
Absolutely.
You want to do the physical releasing?
Yes. All right, so physical releasing. Sometimes we need to experience a physical letting go. Experiences and emotions can get locked in the body. Screaming in the car with all the windows rolled up can be very releasing if we have been stifling our verbal expression. Beating the bed or kicking pillows is a harmless way to release pent-up anger, as is playing tennis or running. A while ago, I had a pain in my shoulder for a day or two. I tried to ignore it, but it wouldn't go away. Finally, I sat down and asked myself, what is happening here? What am I feeling? I realized it feels like burning. Burning. That means anger. What are you angry about? I couldn't think of what I was angry about, so I said, well, let's see if we can find out. I put 2 large pillows on the bed and began to hit them with a lot of energy. After about 12 hits, I realized exactly what I was angry about. It was so clear. So I beat the pillows even harder and made some noise and released the emotions from my body. When I got through, I felt much better. And the next day, my shoulder was fine. Yeah,
That's good.
that can be significant,
Yeah.
letting go of those emotions that are sitting in your body. A lot of people, she was one of the ones that pioneered, if you don't address issues and emotions and let them go, they can create issues physically in the body.
Right. And that's one awesome thing about this book, You Can Heal Your Life. There's a chart in there that it'll tell you, what's going on, what emotions are probably stuck in your body parts.
Right, based on what's going wrong.
Right. Yeah. They're so good.
It is. It's really wonderful. I love this book. Letting the past hold you back. Many people come to me and say they cannot enjoy today because of something that happened in the past. Because they did not do something or do it in a certain way in the past, they cannot live a full life today. Because they no longer have something that they had in the past, they cannot enjoy today. Because they were hurt in the past, they will not accept love now. Because something unpleasant happened when they did something once, they are sure it will happen again today. Because they once did something that they are sorry for, they are sure they are bad people forever. Because once someone did something to them, it is now all the other person's fault that their life is not where they want it to be. Because they became angry over a situation in the past, they will hold on to that self righteousness. Because of some very old experience where they were treated badly, they will never forgive and forget. Because I did not get invited to the high school prom, I cannot enjoy life today. Because I did poorly at my first audition, I will be terrified of auditions forever. Because I am no longer married, I cannot live a full life today. Because I was hurt by a remark once, I will never trust anyone again. Because I stole something once, I must punish myself forever. Because I was a poor as a because yeah. Because I was poor as a child, I will never get anywhere. What we often refuse to realize is that holding on to the past, no matter what it was or how awful it was, it is only hurting us. They really don't care. Usually, they are not even aware. We are only hurting ourselves by refusing to live in this moment to the fullest. The past is over and done and cannot be changed. This is the only moment we can experience. Even when we lament about the past, we are experiencing our memory of it in this moment and losing the real experience of this moment in the process.
That's good.
That's so huge. A lot of people say, I'm having trouble letting go of this, or this still affects me, or things like that.
Mhm.
And it's understandable that you would have things from the past that are still on your mind.
Right.
But to refuse to allow yourself to live now because of what happened before is a detriment to yourself. You have so much potential of your life, and to allow yourself to be held back by that,
You're missing out on
oh,
a lot of life.
it's so sad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really important that you realize that what happened before doesn't define now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the biggest things that people have trouble with, I think, is
Yes.
living in the past and staying in those emotions from the past or whatever you did in the past. Or nobody's perfect. We learn as we go, and we're all learning as we go.
Right.
So there are no perfect people, and we just have to do better moving forward. It doesn't matter. You can't go back and change anything that happened in the past. So
Right.
why not move forward? And most of the time it's only in our head that those things are as big as they are, as you think they are. A lot of people don't even remember the things that you're remembering that happened.
Right.
So why put yourself through that? Just move forward and be who you want to be.
Right. And even with traumatic events,
Yeah.
like super
Yeah.
traumatic events, you can allow yourself to move forward from those. And, if somebody did something to you or something happened to you, it doesn't mean that you're saying what happened to you is right, because it's
Yeah.
not true, right?
Yeah.
But what you are saying is, I'm ready to live my life now and
Yeah.
allow myself to move forward so
Mhm.
that I can enjoy my life going
Right.
forward from this. So I'm allowing myself to release this so I can keep moving forward. I'm
Yeah.
doing this for me, not for anybody else or because what happened was okay, but I'm doing this because I want to live my life
Mhm.
now in a certain way. And this is what I need to do to finally move forward towards that. That's really what releasing is about.
Yeah, it is. Very good.
So with that, why don't we do the releasing exercise? You ready?
Hey.
Let us now clean up the past in our minds. Release the emotional attachment to it. Allow the memories to just be memories. If you think back to what you used to wear in the 3rd grade, usually there is no emotional attachment. It's just a memory. It can be the same for all of the past events in our lives. As we let go, we become free to use all of our mental power to enjoy this moment and to create a great future. List all of the things you are willing to let go of. How willing are you to do this? Notice your reactions. What will you have to do to let these things go? How willing are you to do so? What is your resistance level? So that's something to think about is, am I ready to let this go?
Hmm.
Because that's a big question.
It
And when you
is.
finally say, yes, I'm ready to let this go,
Mhm.
that's when you can start to do the other things that help you to release it,
Yeah.
and we give a lot of tools and things. So if you're looking to let go of something in particular, look back at some of our podcasts. We have some really good things for pretty much any situation.
Yeah.
The next step is forgiveness.
Huge one.
It's a big one. Forgiveness of ourselves and of others releases us from the past. The Course in Miracles says over and over that forgiveness is the answer to almost everything. I know that when we are stuck, it usually means there is some forgiving to be done. When we do not flow freely with life in the present moment, it usually means we are holding on to a past moment. It can be regret, sadness, hurt, fear, or guilt, blame, anger, resentment, and sometimes even the desire for revenge. Each one of these states comes from a space of unforgiveness, a refusal to let go and come into the present moment. Love is always the answer to healing of any sort, and the pathway to love is forgiveness. Forgiveness dissolves resentment. There are several ways in which I approach this. So, exercise, dissolving resentment. There is an old Emmett Fox exercise for releasing resentment that always works. He recommends that you sit quietly, close your eyes, and allow your mind and body to relax. Then imagine yourself sitting in a darkened theater, and in front of you is a small stage. On that stage, place the person you resent the most. It could be someone in the past or present, living or dead. When you see this person clearly, visualize good things happening to this person, things that would be meaningful to her or him. See them smiling and happy. Hold this image for a few minutes, then let it fade away. I like to add another step. As this person leaves the stage, put yourself up there. See good things happening to you. See yourself smiling and happy. Be aware that the abundance of the universe is available to all of us. The above exercise dissolves the dark clouds of resentment most of us carry. For some, it will be very difficult to do. Each time you do it, you may get a different person. Do it once a day for a month and notice how much lighter you feel.
Really good.
I really like that because sometimes just allowing ourselves to let go of some of that resentment
Mhm.
just really lifts a burden from
Yeah.
us.
It sure does. Yeah, and to do these exercises, I've been working on myself for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot of this kind of work. So like when you were saying, think of someone that you resent, I really couldn't think of anybody, and that felt really good.
And I could, and that tells me I need to do this exercise. Because I don't usually have that feeling, but
Right.
every once in a while it does come up.
Yeah.
And that tells me there's resistance there. And so for me to think of one person that I resent, it's like, wow, that's
Yeah.
not really what I want for my life.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to do this exercise when I go home, actually,
Yeah.
to let
Yeah,
go of that
that's awesome.
because it's like I don't wish bad things for that person,
Right.
but I
And
do resent them.
yeah, and forgiveness doesn't mean you agree with what they did or what happened,
Right.
but it's more for you than for them.
It is
you
for
know?
you. It's you letting
So,
go.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
has nothing to do with them. It's
Right.
you letting go so that you can move forward. That's
Yeah.
what forgiveness is.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's an amazing thing. Yeah, I've done a lot of work on that.
I have too, and it looks like I'm gonna do more. Do you want to do the next one?
Yep. So exercise, revenge. Those on the spiritual pathway know the importance of forgiveness. For some of us, there is a step that is necessary before we can totally forgive. Sometimes the little kid in us needs to have revenge before it's free to forgive. For that, this exercise is very helpful. So close your eyes, Sit quietly and peacefully. Think of the people who are hardest to forgive. What would you really like to do to them? What do they need to do to get your forgiveness? Imagine that happening now. Get into the details. How long do you want them to suffer for or do penance? When you feel complete, condense time and let it be over forever. Usually at this point, you feel lighter and it is easier to think about forgiveness. To indulge in this every day would not be good for you. To do it once as a closing exercise can be freeing. So exercise on forgiveness. Now we are ready to forgive. Do this exercise with a partner, or you can do it aloud if you are alone. Again, sit quietly with your eyes closed and say, and you can say it in your mind, you don't have to say it out loud. The person I need to forgive is, and state their name. And I forgive you for whatever they did to you. Do this over and over. You will have many things to forgive, some for only one or two to forgive others for. If you have a partner, let him say to you, "Thank you, I set you free now." If you do not, then imagine the person you are forgiving saying it to you. So just think of them saying it to you. Do this for at least 5 or 10 minutes. Search your heart for the injustices you still carry, and then let them go. When you have cleared as much as you can for now, turn your attention to yourself. Say out loud to yourself, "I forgive myself for blank." Do this for another 5 minutes or so. These are powerful exercises and so good to do at least once a week to clear out any remaining rubbish. Some experiences are easy to let go, and some we have to chip away at until suddenly one day they let go and dissolve. That's good.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So the next one is a visualization. Another good exercise, have someone read this to you if you can and put it on tape or listen to it. So another thing you could do on your phone and listen to it if you don't have someone to read it to you. So I'll be your reader today. Okay, begin to visualize yourself as a little child of 5 or 6. Look deeply into this child's eyes. See the longing that is there and realize that there is only one thing this little child wants from you, and that is love. So reach out your arms and embrace this child. Hold it with love and tenderness. Tell it how much you love it, how much you care. Admire everything about this child and say that it's okay to make mistakes while learning. Promise that you will always be there no matter what. Now let this child get very small until it is just the size to fit into your heart. Put it there so whenever you look down, you can see this little face looking up at you, and you can give it lots of love. Now visualize your mother as a little girl of 4 or 5. Frightened and looking for love and not knowing where to find it. Reach out your arms and hold this little girl and let her know how much you love her, how much you care. Let her know she can rely on you to always be there, no matter what. When she quiets down and begins to feel safe, let her get very small, just the size to fit into your heart. Put her there with your own little child. Let them give each other lots of love. Now imagine your father as a little boy of 3 or 4, frightened and crying and looking for love. See the tears rolling down his little face when he doesn't know where to turn. You have become good at comforting frightened little children. So reach out your arms and hold this trembling little body. Comfort him, croon him, let him feel how much you love him. Let him feel that you will always be there for him. When his tears are dry and you feel the love and peace in his little body, let him get very small, just the size to fit into your heart. Put him there so those three little children can give each other lots of love and you can love them all. So good. There is so much love in your heart that you could heal the entire planet. But just for now, let us use this love to heal you. Feel a warmth beginning to glow in your heart center, a softness, a gentleness. Let this feeling begin to change the way you think and talk about yourself. So, so good. And you could do this with your siblings. You could do it with any family members that you've had conflicts with, or you remember things about your childhood that were rough with them, or whatever it is, you could do it with all of them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
really good.
Absolutely.
So awesome. Okay, once again, there's a little poem at the end here.
I love these. These are my favorite.
Yeah, they're so good. So, and you can close your eyes and just listen like a meditation for this. In the infinity of life where I am, all is perfect, whole, and complete. Change is the natural law of my life. I welcome change. I am willing to change. I choose to change my thinking. I choose to change the words I use. I move from the old to the new with ease and with joy. It is easier for me to forgive than I thought. Forgiving makes me feel free and light. It is with joy that I learn to love myself more and more. The more resentment I release, the more love I have to express. Changing my thoughts makes me feel good. I am learning to choose to make today a pleasure to experience. All is well in my world. So, so good.
I love it.
Yeah. Doesn't that feel good to know that you can choose what your thoughts are and who you're thinking about, and
How empowering
yeah,
it
yeah,
is to know that you can choose.
right.
If something is going differently in your life than you want, you can choose to change it.
Yeah,
And there are many
absolutely.
ways and many tools and things to help you. And if you are persistent, you will begin to get what you want.
Yeah.
Don't give up.
Yeah.
Because in giving, you can give up your resistance.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
don't give up on your dreams, and don't give up on the things that you want, because they're on their way to you.
Right.
So it's time to let go, start to go with
And
the
allow
flow,
it to come in.
let go of the things that are holding you back and all the past things that aren't serving you anymore.
Right.
And let it in, like
Yeah.
you said, allow it to come to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you deserve good things. And when you begin to know that within yourself, that you deserve good things and you're worthy of having good things and happiness in your life, that's a big game changer for you as well. So
Yeah.
if you feel resistance when you think those thoughts and you think, I deserve to be happy, and you feel resistance in that, it's time to let that go. Time to let those things go that are saying that you don't.
Absolutely. So, so good. All right, Carissa, where can we find you?
On the interwebs?
On the
I
interwebs.
love it when you say that. So you can find me on Facebook at Light of Hope Healing, and also I have a Square site that's light-of-hope-healing.square.site. So basically, Light of Hope Healing with dashes in between. And you can also find us collectively on Facebook at Our SoulSpace.
Yeah.
And what about you, Miss Tracy? Where can we find you?
I am at inspiredsignals.com and on Facebook and Instagram at Inspired Signals.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, we look forward to seeing you guys next week with more things to help you in this beautiful changing season. So come
Yeah.
join us. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yep. And happy graduation to all the graduates out there.
Yes.
It's that time of year, and you have a bright future ahead of you. So exciting.
Yes, we're
It's
so
the
happy for
best.
you, and we wish you all the best of luck as you go forward to whatever it is that you're doing next.
Yeah. And we'll see you next week.
All right, bye guys.
Bye-bye.